The girl in the moonlight every full moon. Something strange happened near the edge of the woods. The animals went quiet. The wind stopped, and the shadows moved like they were alive. Liam had lived alone in his small forest cabin for almost a year. He came here to escape the noise of the city and the pain of old memories. No neighbors, no questions, just peace. But tonight was different. A loud thud hit the front door. Liam froze. He was reading by candlelight, the only sound being the soft crackle of firewood. He slowly stood up, grabbed his old hunting rifle, and tiptoed to the door. He listened. Silence. Then, claws scraped across the wooden door. His heart beat faster. He opened the door fast. Gun raised. Nothing. Just the dark trees and cold air. But then, he saw her. A girl stood at the edge of the clearing, where the moonlight touched the ground. She had long black hair, pale skin, and glowing yellow eyes. Her clothes were torn and her arms had deep cuts. She didn't speak. She didn't move. She just stared at him. Liam lowered the rifle slowly. "Are you okay?" he asked, his voice soft. She didn't answer. A low growl came from the trees behind her. Shadows moved fast between the trees. Liam took a step back. The girl didn't flinch. Instead, she turned toward the trees and let out a strange howl, half human, half beast. What came out of the forest was worse than any wild animal. It had long arms, sharp claws, and skin like cracked stone. It moved like smoke, but hit the ground, like thunder. Liam raised the rifle, ready to shoot, but the girl ran toward the creature first. He watched in shock as she leapt high, her body twisting in midair. She wasn't just fast, she was trained. Or something more than human. They fought hard, claws against claws, howls against screams. It was over in seconds. The creature fell to the ground, its black blood soaking into the dirt. The girl stood over, it breathing hard. She looked back at Liam one more time, then she ran into the woods and disappeared. Liam didn't sleep that night. The next morning, he checked the clearing. The creature's body was gone, but the blood was real, and so were the deep claw marks on the trees. He went into town later that week to ask the locals if they knew anything. "Strange things happen near the mountains," one old man said. "Some say the shadows there eat people whole." "Wolves, maybe," said another. "Or worse." No one believed what he saw, but Liam knew the truth. The girl was real, and she had saved his life. A full month passed. He didn't see her again until the next full moon. That night, just like before, the air went still. The shadows grew longer, and then he heard something outside the cabin again. This time he didn't grab the gun. He opened the door with shaking hands. There she was, standing in the same place, under the moonlight. But this time, she was bleeding. She took 2 slow steps toward the cabin, then collapsed into the snow. Liam ran to her, panic rising in his chest. Hey, can you hear me?" he shouted. She opened her eyes for a moment. They still glowed faint yellow, but she didn't speak. She closed her eyes again and passed out. Liam didn't think. He lifted her carefully in his arms and carried her inside. He didn't know who or what she was, but he knew one thing. She had saved him once. Now it was his turn. Silent protector Liam sat on the floor beside the couch, watching the strange girl sleep. Her breathing was shallow. Her arm was bleeding again. He had wrapped it in cloth, but the wound looked deep. Too deep for a normal human. The fire in the cabin crackled. Outside, the wind howled through the trees. It was a full moon, just like before. Liam didn't understand what was happening. This girl, this silent, wolf-eyed girl, had saved him from something not human. Now she was here, hurt and helpless. And still, she said nothing. Not a word. Not a sound. He had tried talking to her earlier, but she only stared with empty, tired eyes. Her face was calm, but her body was tense like a trapped animal waiting to fight again. Liam reached for the water canteen and gently held it to her lips. She didn't open her eyes, but she drank, slow and careful. "You can trust me," he whispered, "I won't hurt you." She gave no sign that she understood. But she didn't stop him either. He stayed beside her all night. But then, just before dawn, her eyes opened wide. Her ears twitched. Something was outside. A low growl rumbled from her throat. Liam stood quickly. "What is it?" She got to her feet wobbling, her legs weak. She looked at the door, then at him. She pointed to a shadow near the window. Liam grabbed his rifle. Outside, the trees were moving, but there was no wind. The girl moved fast, too fast for someone still bleeding. She pushed Liam aside and kicked the door open. What he saw outside chilled his blood. There were 3 of them now. Creatures like the one she killed before. Tall, black-skinned beasts with eyes like burning coals. They were sniffing the air, claws ready, jaws dripping with thick black drool. They had come for her. She stepped outside alone, barefoot in the snow. She didn't scream. She didn't run. She stood her ground. And then she changed. Liam saw it happen in front of him. Her bones shifted, her face stretched, her hands turned to claws, her back arched and muscles thickened. Her hair turned wild and her mouth filled with long, sharp teeth. Her eyes blazed yellow. She was no normal girl. She was a werewolf, but not like the ones in old human stories. She was something ancient, something powerful, something made to protect. She charged the creatures without fear. The fight was fast, wild, and terrifying. Claws slashed. Snow flew. Black blood sprayed the trees. One creature grabbed her throat, but she broke its arm with one twist. Liam stood frozen. He wanted to help, but she didn't need it. She tore them apart, and when it was over, she turned to him, breathing heavy, body shaking. Then she collapsed again. Liam ran to her side. Her skin was turning cold. Her hands were bleeding. He dragged her inside and laid her back on the couch. "What are you?" he whispered. Her eyes fluttered. For the first time, she looked at him with something like sadness, like regret, like fear. And then she pulled something from around her neck, a small metal chain. Liam hadn't noticed it before, hidden under her scarf. At the end of the chain was a strange metal tag, like a dog tag, but not human. There were alien letters carved into it, glowing faint blue. He reached out to touch it, then stopped. The girl placed it in his hand. Her fingers cold, Liam turned it over. On the back, more symbols, and one human word burned into the surface. Subject 9. Suddenly he understood. She wasn't just some forest creature. She was being hunted, tagged, tracked, owned. Liam sat back, stunned. What was she? A weapon? A prisoner? A science project? He had so many questions, but still she said nothing. Only silence. The fire crackled. The wind howled. And the girl, this silent protector, closed her eyes again. But Liam knew the truth now. She had risked her life to protect him again, and whoever was hunting her and would come back. Next time he would be ready. The forbidden howl. The snow had stopped falling by morning, but the cold remained like a silent warning in the air. Liam sat at the edge of his porch, staring into the woods. The girl, the one who had saved him twice now, was still asleep inside. She hadn't moved since the last attack. Her body needed rest, but her soul, Liam feared, carried too many scars. He held the strange metal tag in his hand again. Subject 9. Alien symbols glowed faintly around the word. He had never seen writing like this before, and he had no idea what it meant. But one thing was clear. She was being hunted. And not just by the monsters in the forest. Someone, or something, had marked her. And if those beasts weren't natural, then someone had sent them. Liam needed answers, so he wrapped the tag in cloth, packed a small bag, and made the 3-hour walk to town. The snow crunched under his boots as he passed through empty trails and quiet paths. The full moon had done its work. Animals were still hiding, as if the forest itself was afraid. In town, he visited a place no one liked to speak of, a small junk shop run by an old scavenger named Grieve. Grieve wasn't friendly, but he knew things. You don't show up unless it's serious, Grieve grumbled as Liam stepped inside. Liam unwrapped the tag and handed it over. The old man's face changed the moment he saw it. His hand trembled. "Where did you get this?" he whispered, almost scared. "Someone gave it to me," Liam said. "A girl, she's hurt. I think someone's after her." Grieve's eyes darkened. "This tag?" "This is from Project Fenris," he said. "They were building something, soldiers. Not human, not animal, something in between." Liam frowned. "Like werewolves?" "Not like the stories," Grieve said. "These were made to guard alien vaults, places no one should ever enter. But something went wrong. They turned on their masters, escaped. Some say one made it off-world." Liam felt a chill. "And they sent hunters after them?" Grieve nodded. "If she's really one of them, they won't stop. Ever." Liam left without saying goodbye. When he got back to the cabin, it was already night. The girl was gone. Her bandages were on the floor. Her footprints in the snow led deep into the woods. He followed. He moved fast, heart pounding. Cold air burned in his lungs, but he didn't care. He found her at the riverbank, kneeling in the snow. She was howling. It wasn't loud. It wasn't wild. It was soft, almost like a song. Sad. Lost. Broken. Liam stood quietly behind her, listening. Then, out of nowhere, the howl was answered. From the other side of the river, deep in the trees, a second howl rose up. But this one was different. It was mechanical. Distorted. Wrong. The girl froze. She turned to Liam, eyes wide with fear. Then she ran. "Wait!" Liam shouted, chasing after her. She didn't stop. They ran until they reached an old dead tree. Its roots twisted above the ground like claws. Behind it, hidden beneath branches and stone, was a cave. She ducked inside. Liam followed. Inside, the cave, glowing symbols were carved into the walls. Old. Alien. In the center was a broken device, half buried in dirt. Liam stared at it. A console? A beacon? Before he could ask, the girl placed her hand on the device. It lit up instantly. A voice echoed through the cave. Blood code matched. Subject 9. Fenris protocol active. Liam stepped back. The symbols on the walls began to glow, one by one. The cave was not just a hiding place. It was a vault, and she had been guarding it, protecting something inside. "What is this?" Liam whispered. The girl looked at him, her eyes full of pain. Then for the first time she opened her mouth, but no words came. Only a whisper. A howl. Soft and broken. And with it, one word. Run. Behind them, deep in the woods, metal footsteps approached. Echoes of the blood-packed metal footsteps echoed through the forest like thunder. Liam's heart beat faster with every step that approached the cave. The girl had whispered only one word, "Run," but he didn't move. Not yet. She stood at the glowing console, weak and shaking, her glowing eyes locked on the cave entrance. The strange symbols on the walls pulsed brighter, as if sensing danger. Then suddenly, the device in front of her spoke again. "Fenris vault seal compromised. Blood-pact override initiated." "What does that mean?" Liam whispered. She looked back at him. This time, her expression wasn't fear. It was guilt, and it was old, like she had carried it for years. Before Liam could ask more, a loud crash shook the ground. Trees cracked. Snow exploded. Something big had landed outside. The cave lights flickered. Liam looked toward the entrance and saw them. Two figures, tall and armored in silver-black suits. They weren't like the beasts from before. These were clean, controlled. Glowing red visors scanned the cave from the shadows. "She's in here," one of them said in a cold, robotic voice. Liam stepped in front of the girl, holding out his arms. "Leave her alone," he shouted. "You are not part of the directive. the voice replied. Step aside, human. No, Liam said, his voice shaking. You'll have to go through me. Behind him, the girl placed her hand on his back. A spark passed between them. Not pain, just heat. Warm, ancient. The walls of the cave lit up fully. A deep hum filled the air. Blood bond detected. Pact confirmed. Human linked to Subject 9 vault. May now respond. The soldiers stopped. What did you do? One of them growled. But it was too late. The ground beneath their feet began to shift. A stone panel slid open under the console, revealing a staircase going down. The girl grabbed Liam's hand and pulled him toward it. They ran down into the darkness as a wave of light swallowed the cave behind them, sealing the entrance. Below, the air was warmer, still glowing blue, but now filled with a soft humming sound, like something alive was asleep nearby. The stairs ended at a large stone door. The girl stepped forward, placed her hand on a glowing mark, and the door opened. Inside was a chamber, unlike anything Liam had ever seen. Giant carvings lined the walls, showing tall wolf-like creatures fighting machines standing beside humans and forming a circle under stars. At the center of the room was a stone table. On top of it, an ancient sword, black and silver, glowing softly, shaped like a fang. What is this place? Liam asked. The girl walked to the table. She placed both hands on the stone. Then slowly, her voice broke the silence. This is our shame, she whispered. Liam blinked. You can talk? She nodded, voice weak. Only here, in this place. He looked around. You were made to protect something, weren't you? To protect life, she said. To protect the vaults. To protect humans. We were created by the old ones, bound by blood. But we were betrayed. Liam listened closely. They turned us into weapons, she continued. We ran. They hunted us. Now, only I remain. She looked up at him. Until you touched the tag, she said. Now the pact is yours too. Liam stepped back. What? I didn't agree to anything. You didn't have to, she said quietly. Your blood chose. Your heart chose. Now we are bonded. Suddenly the sword on the table rose into the air. It hovered, turned, and flew straight into Liam's hand. He caught it. The weight felt right. Natural. Defender confirmed. The room whispered. New guardian linked. The girl dropped to her knees. They will come for you now, she said. Then let them, Liam replied. But above them, far above the sealed cave, a satellite moved into position. A red light blinked on its surface, and across the stars something began to awaken. The hunt begins. 3 days passed. Liam didn't sleep much, not since the cave sealed behind them, not since the sword chose him, not since the girl, now called Subject 9, said the words that still echoed in his mind. Now we are bonded. They had returned to the surface through a hidden tunnel. The armored soldiers were gone, but their tracks remained in the snow, sharp and deep like metal claws. The forest, once a place of peace for Liam, now felt like a battlefield waiting to explode. Subject 9 was healing slowly. Her wounds were no longer bleeding, but she moved with caution. Her wolf-like strength hadn't fully returned. Still, she stayed close to Liam, watching over him. She rarely spoke outside the cave. Her voice still carried pain. When she did speak, it was soft and short, but Liam had learned how to read her eyes now. They told him everything, and they were always watching the sky. On the 4th night, it arrived. A ship, sleek, black, silent, landed on a ridge just outside the forest. It didn't make a sound. No fire, no engines. It simply appeared like a shadow that had taken form. Liam saw it first from the cabin window. They're back, he said quietly. Subject 9 stood beside him, claws already forming at her fingertips. This time, she wasn't going to run. Liam held the sword in his hands. It hummed softly, like it could feel what was coming. How many? He asked. She closed her eyes for a second, then opened them. Too many. The ship released a swarm of hunter drones. Small, spider-like machines crawled through the trees, scanning everything with red light. One of them paused at a tree where Subject 9 had once rested. It blinked, then chirped, and the hunt began. Liam and Subject 9 ran, but not away. They ran toward the vault ruins, where the land was broken and hard to track. As they moved, Liam saw more of what Subject 9 had been hiding. Old scars. Deep ones. From battles, from experiments, from betrayal. They weren't just hunting you, were they? Liam asked as they climbed a rocky hill. She paused, then said, I knew secrets. Too many. They erased the others. I survived. At the top of the hill, they stopped. Liam saw lights in the distance, burning through the forest like fireflies, made of steel. Hundreds of them. The drones. We can't fight them all, Liam said, gripping the sword tighter. Subject 9 didn't look afraid. We don't have to fight them all, she said. We just have to reach the core. Core? She pointed to the ruins. The last vault, deep underground. It holds the key. If we reach it, we can shut them down. Liam looked into her eyes. Then let's do it. They moved through the broken stones and frost-covered trees until they reached a place where the ground was black and glassy. Subject 9 knelt and dug into the dirt. Beneath it, a metal plate. She placed her palm on it. The ground shifted. A stairway opened, leading deep into the earth. Liam followed her down. They entered a chamber lit by glowing red lines. At its center, a giant machine sat sleeping, its heart glowing faintly blue. This is the core? Liam asked. She nodded. It can wake the others or shut them all down forever. What do we need? Your voice, she said. And the sword. Liam stepped forward. The machine reacted to his presence. Symbols appeared in the air. A voice echoed. New Guardian confirmed. Do you wish to terminate Hunter Protocol? Liam opened his mouth to speak, but the roof above them exploded. Hunter had found them, not a drone. A full-sized armored soldier, taller than a human, faster than any beast. It dropped into the chamber like lightning. Subject 9 jumped in front of Liam and roared. The hunter charged. Metal slammed against claw. The chamber shook. Liam yelled, How do I shut it down? Subject 9 shouted, Say yes. Liam held the sword. Hi. Yes. The chamber lit up white. The machine pulsed. Outside, every drone in the forest suddenly stopped, frozen in midair, then fell. But the hunter inside didn't stop. It wasn't just a machine. It was something more. Liam. Run. Subject 9 screamed, but Liam didn't move. He stepped forward instead. The hunter turned to him, raising a plasma blade. Liam raised the sword. The two weapons met in the air, and the sound it made wasn't metal. It was like thunder cracking through time. The hunter's weapon shattered. Liam swung once more, and it was over. The chamber fell silent. Subject 9 stood beside him, breathing hard. It's just the beginning, she said. And above them, far beyond the trees, the satellite blinked. Again, but this time it sent a signal not to Earth, but to the stars, and something answered. Moonfire awakens. Snow began to fall again, soft, silent, peaceful. Yet nothing about the moment was calm. Liam stood at the edge of the ruined vault entrance, his body aching, his hands still holding the sword that had shattered a hunter's weapon like glass. The blade still hummed, but it felt different now, heavier, older, aware. Behind him, Subject 9 stood like a shadow with a beating heart. Her face was pale, her wolf-like eyes glowing dimly. She hadn't spoken since they climbed out of the vault. Neither had Liam. They both knew what had just happened wasn't the end. They had won the battle. But far away, something had woken up. In the stars above, beyond the black sky and the dead satellites, an ancient signal had been received. And now, something was coming. What happens next? Liam finally asked. Subject 9 didn't look at him. Instead, she stared at the sky, her voice soft. They will burn this forest. Who? The origin hunters, she said. The first ones. They don't send machines anymore, they come themselves. Liam's chest tightened. Why now? She turned to him. Because the sword chose you. They returned to the cabin, which now felt like a fragile shell about to be crushed by the universe. Everything inside looked small. Books, blankets, candles. All of it once brought Liam peace. Now it looked like a goodbye. Subject 9 didn't sit. She paced slowly, sniffing the air. What are you sensing? Liam asked. Heat, she said. Energy in the wind, and moonfire in my blood. Moonfire, she nodded. Every guardian of Fenris holds it. It wakes when we are near death or near truth. Liam looked confused. What truth? She finally met his eyes. You were never supposed to hold the sword, she said. But you did. Liam swallowed hard. Then why did it choose me? Because your heart spoke louder than your blood. She walked to the window. The wind blew harder now, shaking the trees. Then, light. Not the soft white light of the moon, but burning blue fire, falling from the sky. A drop of it struck the trees across the ridge. The trees didn't catch fire. They vanished, turned to ash without smoke. Liam grabbed the sword and ran out. From the sky, blue bolts rained down like meteors, but each one silent, fast and targeted. The origin hunters had arrived. One ship. No sound, just light and death. How do we stop them? Liam shouted. Subject 9 came beside him. Her body trembled. Not with fear, but with rage. You don't stop them, she said. You become something they never prepared for. Liam looked at her. What does that mean? The last part of the bond must be completed, she said. What part? She walked closer, her voice dropped. The shared breath. What is that? I give you the moonfire. Liam blinked. You mean your power? She nodded. But once you take it, you will never be human again. The air around them shifted. Time felt slower. The trees, the wind, the stars, all waited for his answer. Liam thought about the cabin, the peace he once loved, the quiet life he had wanted, and then he thought about her, about how she had saved him, about how she had suffered, and how she had never once asked for anything in return. He nodded. I accept. Subject 9 stepped forward, placing her hand on his chest. Her eyes burned silver. Breathe with me. They inhaled at the same time, and the moment they did, the forest lit up with fire. Not fire that destroyed, but fire that remembered, ancient light, moonfire. Liam fell to his knees. His skin glowed faint blue. His vision stretched. He could see, far, far away. Ships in orbit, weapons primed. But he could also feel something else. The old voices of the Guardians, long gone, whispering in his mind. You are chosen. You are blood. You are weapon. When Liam stood again, his eyes were silver like hers. His voice cracked like thunder. Let them come. The last full moon. The night sky was no longer dark. Above the forest, the origin hunter ship hovered like a dead star, glowing blue and pulsing with cold energy. It was silent, massive, ancient. It had no windows, no weapons Liam could see, but he didn't need to see them to feel the danger. Inside Liam, the moonfire burned. His heart beat with two rhythms now, his own and hers. Subject 9 stood beside him, calm and steady. The bond between them was complete. They no longer needed to speak to understand each other. They were one flame in two bodies, and tonight, they would fight together. Below the ship, the forest groaned. Strange lights shimmered on the ground, and then they came. Origin hunters, dozens of them, tall, armored, faster than anything human, the kind of enemy that didn't miss, didn't feel, didn't stop, but neither did he. Liam gripped the sword, now burning with silver fire. The blade didn't just hum now, it sang. It sang of old wars, of sacrifice, of guardians that once stood where he stood now. Subject 9 growled low in her throat. Her claws extended. Her body began to shift. Not fully wolf, not fully woman, but a perfect shape between both. Her eyes blazed like stars. The hunters reached the tree line. Now, she whispered. They moved. Liam charged headfirst into the wave. His sword cut through their armor like it was made of cloth. He didn't even need to think. The moonfire moved his arms, guided his feet, protected his heart. He was no longer just a man. He was a weapon of the pact. Behind him, Subject 9 danced through the battlefield, fast, sharp, silent. Every move was a strike. Every claw a promise. Every howl a warning. The hunters tried to adapt. They failed. Liam jumped over one, spinning through the air. He slammed the sword into the ground, and moonfire exploded outward, turning 4 enemies into ash in seconds, but they just kept coming. More dropped from the ship above. We need to reach the command node, Subject 9 shouted, voice raw from battle. Where? Liam called back. The heart of the ship. It controls the entire protocol. Liam looked up. Then we go up. Subject 9 smiled, sharp and wild. Hold on. She grabbed him and leapt into the trees, then again and again, higher with every jump, until they reached the ridge. And from there, she jumped into the sky. Liam felt the wind rush past his face as they soared. The ship grew closer, larger, until they landed. On steel, the surface of the hunter ship was smooth and cold. Lights blinked around them, but no guards. Too quiet, Liam said. They think they've already won, she answered. They moved fast across the surface. The sword led the way, glowing brighter near the center. Then they found it, a black dome at the top of the ship. This is the command node, Subject 9 said. But it won't open unless... Liam placed the sword against the surface. A ring of light opened beneath them, and the dome slid away. Inside, it was hollow, silent. A single machine stood at the center, tall, made of shifting metal, with eyes that looked more human than they should. You are not authorized, it said. Liam stepped forward. I am now. He raised the sword. But the machine was faster than anything they'd fought before. In one blink, it was across the room. Liam barely blocked its strike. Subject 9 jumped in from the side, slashing. The machine moved like a ghost, dodging both. Liam's heart raced. We can't hit it, he shouted. We don't have to, she replied. We just have to stop its heart. Liam looked up. There it was. A small glowing orb at the top of the chamber. The true node. Liam ran toward it. The machine followed. Subject 9 threw herself between them, taking the hit that would have killed him. No, he screamed, but she smiled. You are the guardian now. Liam leapt into the air, spinning the sword once, then he struck the orb and everything stopped. Light exploded from the wound. The machine screamed, but not in pain, in fear. It dissolved. The hunters below fell like puppets with cut strings. The ship shook, groaning like a dying beast. Liam rushed back to her. She was bleeding badly. You did it, she whispered. We did it, he said. Her hand touched his face. You changed everything. Then she closed her eyes, and the sword in his hand turned to light. It floated upward, into the sky, and the full moon, high above them, burst into silver flame. From that night on, the hunters never returned. The forest healed, but Liam stayed. He rebuilt the cabin, and every full moon he sat on the porch, waiting, watching, listening. Because somewhere in the stars, her voice still called to him, and one day, she would return.